When I say clarity of vision, I mean you have to see it before you can seize it. Too many people are walking through life blindfolded, wishing for something great, but never actually defining what great looks like for them. You can't expect to build a house without a blueprint, and you can't expect to achieve your dreams without a clear picture of what those dreams are. If you wake up every day unsure of where you're going, you'll spend your whole life running in circles. The people who achieve the impossible are the ones who dare to close their eyes, imagine the life they want, and then refuse to let that vision fade. Clarity doesn't just come by accident. It comes when you decide to slow down and be intentional. Sit with yourself and ask, what do I really want? What do I want my life to look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Too many of you are living in default instead of design. You're letting life happen to you instead of happening to life. But when you take the time to create a crystal clear vision of who you want to be, what you want to do, and the impact you want to leave behind, suddenly everything else falls into alignment. Think about it. When you know where you're going, distractions lose their power. Opportunities that don't align with your vision stop looking attractive. You stop saying yes to everything and start saying yes to only what pushes you closer to your dream. That's the power of clarity. It acts like a compass, guiding you through every decision, every challenge, every detour. Without it, you're just wandering. With it, you're unstoppable. But here's the truth. Clarity isn't just about having a dream. It's about being specific. Don't just say you want to be successful. What does success mean to you? Don't just say you want to be wealthy. How much, by when, and doing what? Don't just say you want to be happy. What experiences, what relationships, what lifestyle will bring that happiness? The sharper the vision, the stronger the pull. The more detailed your dream, the easier it is for your brain and body to lock in and chase after it. And once you see it, really see it, you have to keep that vision alive every single day. Write it down, put it on your wall, speak it into existence, picture it before you go to bed and when you wake up. Because if you let the world define your vision for you, it will. If you let people plant doubt, it will take root. But if you guard your vision, if you nurture it, it will grow so strong that nothing can shake it. The moment your vision becomes clear is the moment your journey truly begins. Everybody loves the feeling of motivation. That fire that lights up inside you when you hear something powerful, when you see someone winning, when you watch a video or read a story that inspires you. But let me tell you something, you can't live off motivation alone. Motivation is like a spark, but discipline is the engine that keeps you moving long after that spark burns out. The truth is, motivation is inconsistent. It comes and it goes. Some mornings you'll wake up feeling unstoppable, but other mornings you'll wake up tired, frustrated, maybe even doubting yourself. And if you rely only on motivation in those moments, you'll stop, you'll quit, you'll wait for that feeling to come back. And while you wait, your dream slips further and further away. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. Discipline doesn't ask you if you feel like it. Discipline doesn't care about your mood. Discipline says, I made a commitment and I'm going to follow through regardless of how I feel. That's the difference between people who dream and people who achieve. The ones who achieve aren't the ones who always felt motivated. They're the ones who built habits so strong that even on the bad days, they moved. Think about it. An athlete doesn't get to the top of their game because they only trained on the days they felt good. They train when they're sore, when they're tired, when nobody's watching. A student doesn't graduate with honors because they only studied when they felt inspired. They studied when it was late, when it was boring, when their friends were out having fun. Discipline is what bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It's the invisible force that carries you when your feelings betray you. And here's the thing, you don't have to start big. Discipline is built in small moments. It's waking up 5 minutes earlier. It's finishing the task you promised yourself you'd complete. It's keeping your word to yourself, even in the smallest commitments. Because every time you follow through, you're proving to yourself that you can be trusted, that you are someone who does what they say. And once you develop that kind of discipline, you become unstoppable. The beauty of discipline is that it compounds. What feels difficult at first eventually becomes second nature. At first, discipline feels like resistance, but with consistency, it becomes rhythm. It becomes part of who you are. That's when you stop asking, do I feel like it today? And start saying, this is just what I do. Motivation might light the match, but it's discipline that keeps the fire burning. Everybody wants the big breakthrough, the life-changing moment, that one opportunity that turns everything around. But here's the truth. Dreams are not built in one moment. They are built in the small, consistent things you do day after day. Your future isn't shaped by what you occasionally do when you feel inspired. It's shaped by the habits you live by every single day. The reality is simple. Your habits either work for you or against you. They're either building your dream or quietly destroying it. Think about your life right now. Look at your routine. Look at how you spend your mornings, your nights, and everything in between. Are those habits moving you closer to your goals? Or are they pulling you further away? Because whether you realize it or not, your daily choices are like bricks. Every day you're laying down bricks that will either build the life you want or trap you in the life you don't. You don't get to wake up successful one morning by accident. Success is a result of stacking enough good habits over time until they create momentum you can't stop. But the problem is most people underestimate the power of small actions. They think if it's not big, it doesn't matter. They think one workout doesn't matter. 1 hour of studying doesn't matter. $1 saved doesn't matter. And because it feels small, they dismiss it. But it's exactly those small actions, repeated consistently, that transform into massive results. The little things done faithfully become the big things. It's the same way with negative habits. Skipping one workout doesn't make you unhealthy, but skipping it consistently will. Spending money carelessly one time won't break you, but making it a habit will. See, your habits are like seeds. Whatever you plant, whatever you water, that's what grows. If you want to change your life, you don't have to start with something huge. You start by changing what you do today, and then you repeat it tomorrow and the day after that. The beauty of habits is that once you build them, they work for you automatically. At first, it feels uncomfortable, even unnatural. But over time, discipline turns into rhythm. What used to feel hard becomes a part of who you are. And when your habits align with your vision, they push you closer to your dream without you even thinking about it. That's the secret. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. Your destiny is not determined by what you occasionally do with passion. It's determined by what you consistently do with discipline. Everybody wants the dream, but not everybody is willing to pay the price that dream demands. The truth is, every vision, every goal, every level of success comes with a cost. You can't hold on to comfort and greatness at the same time. Something has to give. Sacrifice isn't punishment. It's the down payment for your future. Too many people want to live like kings and queens without giving up anything in the process, but it doesn't work that way. You don't get to keep the old version of yourself and step into the new life you're asking for. Sacrifice means trading short-term pleasure for long-term fulfillment. It means turning off the TV and putting in the work. It means saying no to the party so you can say yes to preparation. It means waking up earlier, staying up later, missing out on certain things so you don't miss out on the bigger thing you've been praying for. Every person who's ever achieved something extraordinary has a story of what they had to give up to get there. Some gave up sleep. Some gave up friends who weren't moving in the same direction. Some gave up comfort zones. Some gave up security. But all of them let go of something to gain everything. The problem is, most people see sacrifice as loss when in reality it's an investment. You're not just giving something up. You're trading it for something greater. Think about an athlete who sacrifices junk food and late nights so they can perform at their peak. Think about a student who sacrifices hanging out every weekend so they can graduate with opportunities. Think about an entrepreneur who sacrifices steady paychecks in order to build something that creates freedom down the road. It's not loss. It's the price of admission into the life they've been dreaming of. And here's what you need to understand. The bigger the dream, the bigger the sacrifice. You can't want millionaire results with minimum wage effort. You can't want championship trophies with recreational discipline. You can't want deep relationships while putting in shallow effort. If you want to climb higher, you have to be willing to carry less baggage. The people who make it to the top aren't always the most talented, but they are the ones who are willing to give up what others refuse to. Sacrifice will test you because it requires you to let go of things that bring you comfort, things that feel good right now. But that's the beauty of it. When you're willing to give up what's easy, you make space for what's extraordinary. And once you've paid the price, once you've given up what was holding you back, you'll realize the life you gained was worth far more than anything you lost. Greatness always demands sacrifice, and only those willing to pay it ever taste it. When people think about success, they picture the highlight reel, the trophies, the celebrations, the applause. But what they don't see is the failures, the setbacks, the sleepless nights when nothing seemed to be working. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's the soil that success grows out of. You can't become strong without resistance. You can't become wise without mistakes. Every person who ever accomplished something great has scars, has losses, has stories of times when they fell flat on their face. The difference is they didn't stay down. Most people fear failure so much that they never even try. They let the thought of embarrassment or disappointment paralyze them. But failure isn't the end. It's feedback. It's life's way of teaching you what doesn't work so you can discover what does. Every setback carries a lesson. And if you're willing to learn from it, that failure becomes fuel for your future. The people who quit after failure never give themselves the chance to grow. But the ones who keep going, the ones who adapt, who adjust, who push forward anyway, those are the ones who eventually win. Think about it like this. A baby learning to walk falls over and over again. If that baby quit after the first fall, they'd never take their first steps. But instinctively, they keep getting back up because falling is part of the process. Somewhere along the way, as adults, we lose that resilience. We start to equate falling with failing permanently when in reality, it's just part of learning. Success requires you to recover that childlike resilience, to fall and get up again and again until standing becomes walking and walking becomes running. And here's the truth, your greatest growth will come from your toughest failures. You'll learn more about yourself in the moments you lose than in the moments you win. Failure forces you to dig deeper, to develop grit, to sharpen your vision. It humbles you, but it also strengthens you. Without failure, success has no meaning because it's the contrast that makes victory taste so sweet. So the question isn't whether you will fail, because you will. The question is, what will you do after? Will you let it define you, or will you let it refine you? Will you quit, or will you rise stronger? You can't be afraid of failing forward. Every time you get back up, you're building resilience. Every time you refuse to quit, you're getting closer to the dream. Failure is not the end of the road. It's just a bend in the road. And if you keep moving, the bend will always lead you closer to where you're meant to be. The people around you will either pull you higher or drag you lower. You can't ignore the power of environment because it shapes how you think, how you move, and ultimately how far you go. If you're surrounded by negativity, by people who constantly complain, doubt, and settle for less, eventually that energy seeps into you. You start to lower your standards without even realizing it. You start to believe that average is all there is. But when you're surrounded by people who push you, who challenge you, who believe in something bigger, it forces you to rise. It makes you stretch beyond what's comfortable. That's why protecting your peace is not selfish. It's necessary. You can't expect to dream big while keeping company with small-minded people. You can't expect to stay focused if every conversation you're in is full of gossip, fear, and excuses. Sometimes the greatest sacrifice you'll make is not giving up things, but giving up people who don't align with your future. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means you love yourself and your purpose enough to choose wisely. Think about it. Even the strongest fire will eventually die out if it's constantly surrounded by water. Your energy works the same way. You could be motivated, disciplined, full of vision. But if you stay in an environment that drains you, that mocks your dream, that doubts your potential, sooner or later it weakens your flame. On the other hand, if you place yourself around people who are hungry, people who are chasing their own goals, people who speak life and encouragement, your fire grows. Their energy becomes fuel for your journey. This doesn't mean you need a crowd of people cheering for you. Sometimes all it takes is one or two people who truly believe in you, who challenge you when you start slipping, who won't let you settle for less than your best. And even beyond people, sometimes protecting your environment means being intentional with what you feed your mind. What are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you reading? If you constantly pour in negativity, don't be surprised when negativity spills out of you. But if you feed yourself with things that inspire, things that challenge, things that remind you of your vision, then you keep yourself aligned with where you're going. Your environment can be the wind beneath your wings or the weight around your ankles. You can't always control everything around you, but you can choose where you spend your time, who you give your energy to, and what you allow to influence your spirit. Choose wisely because your dream depends on it. Surround yourself with energy that lifts you and watch how much higher you can climb. There comes a point in the journey toward your dreams where talent isn't enough. Strategy isn't enough. Even discipline by itself isn't enough. What carries you through is the combination of relentless faith and relentless action. You have to believe in your dream with a fire so strong that doubt can't extinguish it. Because let's be real, doubt will come. Fear will whisper in your ear. People will question you, circumstances will test you, and sometimes even you will wonder if it's worth it. That's why faith is the foundation. Faith is that unshakable belief that even when you can't see the full staircase, you keep climbing anyway. But faith by itself is not enough. You can't just sit back and hope, pray, or wish your way into your destiny. Faith without action is just fantasy. You have to move your feet, put in the work, take the risks, make the sacrifices. Action is how you prove to yourself and to the world that you actually believe in the dream you say you want. Too many people talk about what they believe in, but their actions don't back it up. If you say you believe you can achieve greatness, then your daily grind, your decisions, your sacrifices have to reflect that belief. And here's the beautiful thing. When you combine the two, faith and action, that's when momentum happens. Faith keeps your vision alive when the results are slow, and action keeps your dream moving forward when your feelings waver. They work together. Faith gives you courage to take steps that don't make sense yet, and action gives you proof that your faith is not in vain. Think about every person who made history, every person who broke barriers. They didn't have all the answers. They didn't always know how it was going to work. But they believed so strongly that it could happen. And then they acted like it was already theirs. That's the secret. You have to walk like it's already done, work like it's already within reach, live like the breakthrough is on its way. That mindset creates energy, and that energy attracts opportunities, people, and resources that align with your vision. Of course, there will be times when faith feels thin and action feels heavy. That's when you remind yourself why you started. That's when you remind yourself of the vision you saw when you began this journey. That's when you dig deep and keep moving, even if it's one small step at a time. Because the truth is, consistency in faith and consistency in action eventually wear down any obstacle. Your dreams are not waiting for perfect timing, perfect resources, or perfect circumstances. They're waiting for you to believe without wavering and to act without hesitation. Relentless faith combined with relentless action is the most powerful force you can carry on the journey to your destiny.